we're talking about Fighting My Family.
Yeah.
So, based on a true story, Fighting With My Family follows reformed gangster Ricky, wife Julia, daughter Paige and son Zach, as they make a living wrestling together in tiny venues. When Paige and Zach get the opportunity to try out for the WWE, the family grabs a once-in-a-lifetime chance to turn their wild into a dazzling future. However, brother and sister quickly discover that to become superstars, both their talent and their relationships will be put to the test.
Hello?
Am I speaking to Zach and Brittany?
Yeah.
My name is Hutch Morgan. I'm calling from WWE. We were very impressed by your tape. In April, down to the O2 in London, and we'd like both of you to come down and try out for us. Hello?
They'd be very happy to accept.
Good. And we already have a Brittany, so just think of an alternative name.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. I told you. It was a given.
Sorry, what is the WWE?
What?
So that was a clip from the film, probably one of the funniest moments in the family finally realise, with the presence of their slightly posher
In-laws,
basically,
yeah.
That they've been accepted to try out for the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, I was a big fan of the WWE when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking like 15 years ago since I last watched WWE. So I went into this like a little bit hesitant because it's made by WWE Studios, so it was always going to paint a fairly like good picture of the whole professional wrestling thing.
Yeah.
But I actually think it was done in such a nice way that you kind of start seeing the whole idea of professional wrestling a lot more than before I went into the film.
Yeah.
And I actually thought, as a whole, the film was really sweet. I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of wrestling. Never have been. And I really didn't want to see the film. And literally in the first sort of 5-10 minutes, I've got to sit through like another hour and a half of this.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
Yeah, I've got to say, the first sort of, I guess the first act really, where up until the point where they realise that they're going to try out for the WWE, it does all feel just a little bit... I don't know, like forced. Like it feels the acting. It's a bit shaky to start with.
Yeah.
It all just feels like it's hard to tell if they're just playing part really well, or if they're just like badly acting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one to start with because I don't know, it just seems so geared towards people that love wrestling. And it does get so much better. Like, I absolutely loved it. But that first 10 minutes, I just thought, oh my God, I can't do this.
Yeah, but I think all credit to Stephen Merchant. So he's the writer and director of the film. And even though WWE is a very American thing, this is such a British film.
Yeah.
And it's a wrestler who sort of tried out and went to America to make a success of herself.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense that a British filmmaker would adapt that. But Stephen Merchant hasn't really had a whole lot of experience at that kind of level of filmmaking. He's had a lot of success with like The Office and Extras. But I think he did himself so many favours with this film.
I agree. And a lot of people, like, I know that everyone's been talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he probably thought it would be as big as it is.
No, I mean, it's topped the UK box office last weekend in its first week. And to do that against, like, the Lego Movie, for instance, is a big deal.
It's huge.
Yeah. And I guess some people would have gone there because The Rock is on the poster. And actually, potentially, they've oversold how much The Rock is in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's more like a cameo from The Rock, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's not a big part.
But that aside, once you're in there and watching the film, I don't think you feel cheated in any way.
Not at all. And I think a lot of people as well, like, we knew prior to going in, but it is the real story of Soraya Bevis.
Yes.
Yeah. Obviously, her WWE name is Paige Yu, and it's the story of her, like, sort of becoming this WWE person. It's really good.
Yeah, will maybe take you by surprise in the film is that it does have these moments within the comedy of the whole film. It has these real moments of heart, particularly in the relationship between Paige and her brother Zach. And this is one particular moment in the film, just after Paige has been, I guess, past the trial.
You have to take my brother.
Excuse me?
No one deserves this more than Zach. Why didn't you pick him?
99% of the people don't get picked.
He was running rings around those other guys.
We're not looking for ring
No,
runners.
wait. You have to explain why you didn't pick him.
I don't have to explain anything. I wish you the best, son, but this is the end of the line.
If he's not going, neither am I.
Rhea, don't be stupid, okay?
Is that a threat?
Yes.
No.
You know, thousands of people apply for this opportunity every week. Now, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to let me know that you want it.
Not without Zach.
Coach, she wants this. Don't listen to her. Rhea, let's just leave it. Come on.
5, 4,
You're not just doing this for you, Rhea, are you? You're doing it for the family.
3, 2.
Yeah, okay, I want this.
See you in Florida.
So I think that was a real turning point in the film, and I wanted to ask, like, what do you generally think about films that are based on true stories? Because it's really hard to build suspense in a film when you know what the outcome is. And like ultimately, you know that Paige went to the WWE and made a success of herself. You know that her brother didn't because he's never become a superstar. So, and I think what's a real skill is that Stephen Merchant has been able to focus not on the kind of will it or won't it work out, which I think is a trap that a lot of directors fall into when they adapt true stories, but on the relationship that ultimately developed between Paige and Zach.
Yeah, I think you're right. Obviously, when you're trying to do something that was based on a true story, trying to have suspense on what the outcome is pointless because everybody knows. So what Stephen Merchant did really well is, like you say, he focused more on the journey. Like everyone knows, or even if you don't know, like you can just read about it and you'll understand, especially from the people that have been like promoting the film. She becomes this huge WWE star.
Yeah.
Her brother not so much. So he really focused on the journey that she went through. And so the film wasn't about will she, won't she become this star? It was what she had to do to get there.
Yeah.
And I think that, for me, that's what made the film so enjoyable because it was about her journey.
What I quite liked was how he kind of put the like Paige and Zach on this sort of emotional seesaw. So as Paige went up, Zach went down, and vice versa. And there was sort of it was about trying to find the balance between the two of them.
What I love as well is I think anybody with not just a brother but sisters, anyone with siblings stands that, like you're trying to be so happy for your sibling but being jealous of them at the same time and how hard that is for you. Like if you've got that kind of family or they're doing something that you've always wanted to do but you've never done, you get that. And I think that was so powerful. You could really relate to how Zach felt. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, I was incredibly impressed when I came out of the cinema. I was a fairly mundane run-of-the-mill British comedy drama, and I think actually you got something that was just good. It was really good.
It was really good, but it was done on such a it didn't feel like a really arrogant film. It was just so down to earth, and it was so enjoyable, and it was just really good.
Yeah,
I was really surprised.
Yeah, do you know what? Let's tweak Stephen Merchant.
Okay,
let's try and get him on the show.
I'm on it. Okie dokie.
Let's tell him how much we love it because I don't know. Buy, borrow, or bin. Let's quickly do it. For me, it's a buy.
Oh, yeah, for me, it's 100% a buy.
And Twitter have spoken as well. We ran a buy, borrow, bin poll. 50% went buy, 40% went bin. So it hasn't... It's got some naysayers, but on the whole, I think the film is being received really well.
Yeah, and I mean, top of the box office.
Yeah, it's amazing. And honestly, if you haven't seen it yet, you don't need to like wrestling to enjoy the film. It's very much an underdog tale that's set in the world of wrestling. You don't need to be a WWE fan.
Agreed, because I'm not, and I loved it.
Yeah, and also The Rock's cameo is awesome.
Of course, we love The Rock.